Today we're going to be looking at how to design a Power BI dashboard. This is a very simple dashboard we'll be designing. So this is what we are going to be replicating. So before we proceed, let's look at our data set. So this is our data set. It's a health data set that deals with the waiting list of patients that want to see the doctor. So that's what the data set is all about. So we have the date, the specialty name, case type. Is it a day case? Is it what kind of case it is? Is it inpatient, outpatient, and so on? You understand? Because the inpatient, they are going to remain in the hospital. The outpatients are going to leave that same day. Day case, they come and they go. Then we have the whether it's an adult or a child, the age, the time band, and so on. So now that we've seen our data set, what is the insights that we can bring out from this data set, or what is our client expecting us? What kind of insights is our client also expecting us to bring out from these data sets? Once you know that, you have to draft it out, how you want your data set, your dashboard to look like. So we have our KPIs, which I will be putting in a card. Then in the KPI, what do you want our KPI to display? That is the card to display total wait list for that current month. So for example, we are in January 2025. That is the wait list for that January 2025. Then in another KPI, we want the wait list for January 2024. That is for the previous year. Then for charts, we have bar chart, line charts, pie charts. For the bar chart, we want to see the average waiting list by time and age. Then for our line chart, we want to see the total wait list by case type and by date. Then we also want to see another line chart. We want to see the total wait list by age and by date. Then for our pie chart, we want to see the average wait list by case type. Then we have our slicers, which will contain our drop down menu. There we have date, we have case, and we have specialty. So you can choose a date that you want. So in that date, all the information on the chart will be giving you information for that date. Then for the case, you can say, okay, I just want to see day cases. So when you click on that drop down menu, you will see everything about the day case. So let's look at our dashboard template. Now before I forget, always take notes when you are creating your dashboard. When you save your dashboard, make sure you save it in the same folder where your data set is. So now this is the folder where my data set is. You can see health 2 is saved there with the data set I'll be working with. Now this health 1 is the duplicate we want to make today. So let's go back to our dashboard. So you can see this is a slicer here. You can see the date. You can choose the date you want. This is another slicer for the case type. So if I choose, for example, inpatient, you can see the whole dashboard has changed. You can see the line chart, the pie chart, everything has changed. If we say day case, you can see the information has changed. So we can unselect that one and everything goes back to default. So now let's see how we can create this. So first and foremost, to create a dashboard, after getting your dashboard template, which is this, the next thing to do is to open an empty dashboard. Now the next thing we do is to import our data. So you come to get data. Now if the data set you want to import is more than one, so you have to click that more and you have to locate where it is. Is it a database you are connecting to? Is it a power platform whatsoever? For us, it's a folder. So look at folder here. So we click on folder and we connect to that folder. So once you connect to the folder, you go ahead and browse for the location of your data set in that folder. So if you have more than one table there, all the table will be displayed. Then you can combine all the table together. So for now we are dealing with only one table, so I'm canceling this. So I come back to get data, and our data set is in CSV. So I click on text/CSV. So here is our data set. So we are opening it. So it's going to load. It takes quite some time to load. So here it is. we can load the data set. So we have to be patient because it takes quite some time to load. Okay, so our data set has been loaded. So it's saying there are some errors there, so let's close it. Then let's come to transform data and click on transform. So our Power Query editor has been opened. So let our data set be displayed. Now it's displayed. So first and foremost, you have to check what are the changes that have been made to your data set. Don't forget, it shows there's an error. So we're checking the changes. Say it has changed the data type. We don't want that. We want to check individually, column by column, to see what is happening. So I cancelled that. I'm cancelling that process. I don't want it. So everything goes back to default mode. So we check this one. Okay, the first column is in text. That is okay. The second column is date column and is in text. ABC means text. No, we don't want it to be in text. Let's put it in date. Oh no, it's showing error. No. Let's take it back to text. Replace. Okay, we're going to come back to this column now because it has to be in date. Okay, let's check the next one. We see this next one is a whole number and it's showing text. We don't want it, so we'll put it as whole number. Okay, the next one is in text. Is in text, the adult text. Now this is also correct. This is also in text. Now look at our total. It should be in integer. That is whole number, not text. So we'll convert it to whole number. So now let's go back to our date column. Our date column. Now we have to work on this. Now what we're going to do, we're going to create a new column. So let's click add column, custom column. So we're going to create a new column that will edit the date. So we'll say I want to name it archive. Archived date. Okay, that's the name. I want to name the new column that I'm going to be creating. So I have a formula already which I've typed in Word. So I'm copying it. Then let me paste it in my Power Query editor. Okay, so what this code does, it tries this, checks the date format. If day, we can write our date in form of day, month and year. We can also write it in form of month, day or year. So this first batch of code checks, okay, how is it formatted? Is it in form of day, month, year? Then this one checks, is it in form of month, day, year? Anyway it is, convert it to date. So date dot from text. So let's say okay. So here our new date column is created. But you can see it's still showing either text or whole number. That is not what we want. So let's change the data type to date. Yeah, so our data type is now in date. It has been changed. You can see the change has been effected here. Okay, so once we are done with this, the next thing now is we want to design our dashboard. So let's save the changes first. So we come here, home. So you can close and apply. So we're applying, the changes have been applied. Okay, so now it's time to create our dashboard. We're waiting for it to apply the changes. Okay, so our data set has been edited successfully. So here it is on the data side of the screen. Okay, so here is our data set. So this is the date column. So let's look at the data type. So I click on it. So you can see here date is in date format. So if you want to change the format, you can come here and change it to any format you want. So this is the format I picked, and so it's there. All right, so now it's time for us to design our dashboard. So let's go back to our dashboard template. So the first thing we want to do, we want to get a card and put the total wait list for the current month. So let's go back to our Power Query editor, our dashboard. Okay, so what we are going to do now, we're going to create put a card. So where is the card? So this is the card here. So the card has been put on the dashboard. So we want to put the total waiting list. So I already have the code written to put the total wait list for the current month. So let's go to where I wrote my code. So current year month. So this is the code here. So all I just do, I'll just copy it and go and paste it. Okay, so what we are going to do now, we're going to create a measure. We're going to create a new measure under this table, and that's where we're going to paste the code. Okay, so I'm pasting it. So it has been pasted. So current month wait list, so it calculates the total wait list for the current month. So you see the archive date, so this is the code for it. So we added +0, so in case there's no information for the month that will be selected, 0 should display there. So I press enter. The measure has been created here. Here is the measure. So all I need to do, once it's finished creating it, all I need to do now, I'm going to take that measure, which is this is it, and put it on. I'm going to grab it, current month, and put it in the card. Yes, so these are information that we want. Okay, then we go back to our template. Total wait list for current month in previous year. So we're going to create another measure for that. So we put the card, click out the empty space so that it will unselect this, so I can put another card. Okay, so now let's create another measure. So we come here, this triple dot, new measure. Okay, so I go to copy the code. So previous year, this is the code for it. Copy it. So I'm pasting it. So now it's the same thing that happens, but this date is what takes it for that current month to the previous year. The current month to the previous year. So I press enter, and it is created. So to know how to write your codes in Power, for creating measures, you have to read on that, how to work on the measure, that is how to create code in Power BI, so that you can know how to create the different codes, how to use your sum, your date, average, and so many other functions there, so you can know how to create your own code. Alright, so we have it here. So we are going to grab it from this data column and put it here. Yes, so this is what we want. So place it where we want it to be placed. So for me, I'm placing it here. Don't forget, this is what we're following. This is what we want to create. So see where it is positioned. So I'm going to position mine there. Okay. Before we continue, we have to put our grid so that we can position it well. So we click on this grid line, so we can see the grid line, so we can easily use it to measure our positioning. So let's continue. So let's go back to our dashboard template. So charts, we have our bar charts, and on our bar chart we want the average wait list by time and age. Average wait list by time and age. Now we don't have any average here. Average has not been calculated, so we're going to be creating another measure for our average. Okay, so here is our measure. So I go back to where I have my code, and I copy the average wait list. Okay, and I paste it. I click enter. So we're going to have our average wait list calculated now. So you can see the function used here now is average. So there are so many functions that you can use in Power BI. So that is a different topic on its own that one has to learn. Okay, so we have our average wait list. So where did we say we want to put it? We want to put it in a bar chart. In a bar chart. So let's see what we are copying. So this is the bar chart here. What kind of bar chart was used? So that is the bar chart that is going to be used. This was the bar chart that was used. So that is what we are going to use. So from the template we have by time and age. So what we'll be using is average, time and age. So let's look at our table. So we have the average measure here, we have our time band, and we have our age. Yes, age profile. So that's what we are going to be using. So let's click on the bar chart we want to use. So we have our average. Our average is going to be on the y-axis, so I put it on the y-axis here. Then we have our time band, it's going to be on the x-axis, and we have our age profile, that's going to be our legend. You can see it has been created. So we'll take it where we want to position it, grab it and position it well. So let's check what we are copying. Okay, so let's position it there too. So this will have to go up a little, this will have to go up a little, then you can position this well. Take note, I'm taking advantage of the grid lines to make my positioning. Okay, so the next thing is our line chart. Okay, I will do the pie chart first because the pie chart is going to be placed by the side of this bar chart. So this our pie chart is having the average, wait list and case type. So we are having average, wait list. You can see where it's positioned by this side, so I want to do it first. Average, wait list. So let's look at our pie chart. So it's a donut chart or donut chart. So we have our average wait list, and our, what are we looking at again? Average wait list and case type. Case type. Yeah, so it has been created. So we just adjust it and put it in the position we want to put it. Okay, so the next thing we'll be looking at now is our line chart. So let's take the line chart. So we have the first line chart. You can see there are two line charts here, this one and this one. So let's create the first one, the first line chart. Here's our line chart. So what is on the line chart? So the first one said the total wait list by case type and by date. So we're dealing with case type, date and total. Case type, the total wait list. So this is total here, the case type, and what's the next one? And date. And date. So where is our date? These are archive date. This is the corrected date here. So let's place it now. So our date will be on the x-axis, our case type will be in our legend. So let's put the y-axis first, the total y-axis. Now take note of this archive date is showing a drop down. We don't want that, so just select archive date. Now our legend, that is where our case type will be. Case type. So here it is. So this is by case type. This is by case type. So this has been created. Now the next one should be by age. It's the same thing, wait list, date, but the difference is by age. So let's create it. The difference is going to be by age. So we'll put the line charts. So our age is what is going to be our legend. So let me put the age, the legend, then the x-axis, which is our date. That's and our y-axis, which is our total. Yes, so it has been created. Sum total of archive date and age profile. Let's see whether it's the same. So you can see sum total by archive date and age profile, and this one sum total by archive date and case type. So let's see what we've done. So the same sum of total by archive date and case type, and this is by age profile. So all you just have to do is position it properly. Okay, so what is remaining here now? Let's check. So we have our slices. We have date, case, and specialty. So date. So all these are in our slice. So we'll look for our slice, and we'll put, so these are our slice. So we add the first slice here. Let me reduce the size because this is where it's positioned. So what are we putting in our slice? We have our date. So we have it here. So let's put another slice. Okay, we have case. So where's our case type here? Then we have the final one, which is specialty by name. So those are different specialty. So we adjust it. So now we need to edit this. You can see it's showing everything. We want it to be a drop down, so I select it. I come to the format option here, slicer setting. It's showing vertical list. No, I want it to be a drop down. So you can see it's now a drop down. The same thing applies to this. We'll make it a drop down. Okay, so this is ready. So finally, I think we're done with everything. We've done the slices, we've done the charts, we've done the card. So now let's look at what we're looking at. We're trying to duplicate. Okay, so we have this, we have this, we have our pie charts, we have our line charts. So what's remaining now is this text box home page. So we'll put that so you know it's a home page, because sometimes you might be having several pages in your dashboard. So look at text box here. Under home we have text box. So you can type what you want to type. So home, you can see the H is very small, so let's format it. So what we want, yes, you can make it bold, you can change the text type so that I continue typing. Home page. Okay, so this is how to create a dashboard. So this is we can remove the grid line now. Come to view and we can remove the grid line. I think everything has been well positioned, so we can unselect this. Now you can decide to change the background color, so you can just click an empty space and come to the format option here, canvas background, and I can put any color you want. Any color you want, you can put any color you want. Let's try this out. You can put any color you want. So now for this color to show, we have to make the transparency 0. So once you make the transparency 0, you can see the color you want. Now another thing you can do, you have to start removing the background color for each one. So to remove the background color for this, you have to go to the settings here, slicer settings, general, effect. So you off the background, so you can see it has adopted this. The same thing for everything. So these are all slices, so you click the second slice, you off the background, you click the second slice, you off the background. So you can see how it's working. So the same thing for your text box. So you can also off the background. So come to our pie chart, off the background, click everything, off the background. So that everything will match. They will merge. They will merge with the background color. So this is our dashboard. Our dashboard is ready. So this is just a basic way of creating a dashboard. You can do a more technical background. For example, I have a background I've already created. So let's try and change this background. So I click the empty space and I come to the format and I click on background. So this time now I'm browsing for the background because I already have a background that I've created. So here it is. So this is it. So you can see. So all I just need to do is just position it. So this background that I'm putting here now, what happened is I created it using PowerPoint. You can create yours using PowerPoint. You can create yours using Corel Draw, Paint, anything. Just design this. Just put what was just used was just normal box in PowerPoint. Normal box. That's just what we used to create this. So let's remove this background. Can remove it. So the original one we put can be used. So this is just the basic way of how to do. So let's see whether it's working. So let's say impatient. You can see everything has changed. Day case, everything has changed. Okay, let's come to specialty case. You can see 0 is showing here. Why? Because there's no information for that, and so on. The same thing with date. You can change your date, any date you want. You can change it and it will give you what you want. So this is how to create an interactive dashboard in Power BI.